You are welcome to yet another edition of Abrahamic Mission. Today's episode is going to be a special one. I believe most of us are aware before, about 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, Plateau State used to be center of crisis, that you are afraid whenever you want to pass through that state, your mind will not be at rest. But thank God, in the last 4, 5, 6 years, things have changed and they are continuously changing. We thank God for the leadership God has provided. Something strange happened in Plateau State, that every 7th of February is declared the day of forgiveness. We want to know, how did we arrive at such a peace in Plateau State? Why the day of forgiveness? My name is Imam Fuad Adeyemi, and our guest today in the studio is the number one man from Plateau State, who is the executive governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Simon Lalong, is also the chairman of Northern Governors Forum. Your Excellency, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers.
I want to thank him and we want to welcome him to this program because apart from being our guest, he's always been a regular viewer of the program. I will have been introducing him, but fortunately for me, he has been part of the program. Not only him, everybody in the family. Your Excellency, we want to thank you. We want to appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
And we pray that God, in His infinite mercy, will continue to support you.
Amen.
We want to discuss forgiveness and peace building process in Plateau State. But before we do that, we received some messages last few days. I believe it will interest you because you have been part of it, so it won't be strange to you to listen to those messages. Let me start with a viewer from Abia State. He said, that is the way he started. He said, each time I listen to this program, I look back in my childhood days, growing up in a predominantly Muslim environment. In the beginning in Nigeria, all was well until politics crept in greed, hate, and wickedness became the order of the day. My sincere regards to you and your guests. I call you all the three wise men. This program is a soothing balm. Please keep it up. My name is Anthony Eme from Abia State. Your Excellency, you raised something. He said it was politics that changed what we do. I want you to react to that.
Yes, part of it will say that it's politics, because in politics, they say you don't have permanent enemy, you don't have permanent friend, but you have permanent interest. But in an environment where you have instability, insecurity, what you do is to fight to ensure that at least you have a semblance of permanent friends. Permanent friends, because with permanent insecurity, there will be no governance. So what you do is to always encourage. And part of this politics is also, it also requires that if you had a fight with somebody, or you had a contest with somebody, and another contest is coming, it's the same person that you go and make peace, because you will need his vote. And because of that, this thing will help you to say, oh, please, if I had offended you, forgive me. This time I will have to change. I will have to change. Otherwise, you go and sit down. That same person will make you lose the election. So as you move on, you would have treaded on toes, you would have offended a lot of people. And when you are elected, what you do is to go back, look at it, and see which people did I offend, and why didn't they vote for me. You look at why they didn't vote for you. Their reasons may be very genuine. And so some of these things, it is when you know, then you now look forward and making corrections.
You reminded me of an African proverb that when a king is passing, if thousands of people, they prostrate to greet him, if one person refuses to prostrate, they said that night the king will not sleep because of that one person that stand without prostrating.
Yes.
Let me continue, sir. This one's right. He said, my name is Habib Muhammad Aminu. What I see here is like two rays of light emanating from one lamp. If the two religions can do what they preach, the world will be a better place. Another man, right, he said, good evening, presenters. I wish and pray that your program should be the beginning of unity among the two major religions. Thank you for all your efforts. Muhammad Kabir Muazu, incidentally, is from Jos in Plateau State.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank you because I think we are doing Plateau things today. So thank you for the message. This man also writes, good day, sir. Celestima Kama from New Year. I'm enjoying your program because it's an everlasting and the best of all for both Christians and Muslims. Your Excellency, feel free if you want to, you have an opinion on what I'm reading.
Okay.
This person writes, he said, good afternoon, sir. Your teaching is awesome, but can this teaching be done in other languages, e.g. Hausa and be aired on television, especially in the northern part of this country, and also in other places where English is not well understood? He said, my name is John from Kano. This one said, thank you for the grace. This show is interesting and it is good because it is enabling everyone to know we are one. Both Christian and Muslim, we are all one and united as one. My name still remains Rosemary Osmond from St. Cyril Catholic Church, Kadokuchi in Abuja here. Thank you, madam. This one right, he said, I'm Eld Onibusola. I don't know whether I'm correct. He said, Mawe, Ogun State. Sir, this is a beautiful program and a good project too. God bless you, your efforts in Nigeria. He writes, say, I'm really enjoying your program. Very interesting and educating. I will advise that this program should be extended to other television stations and radio stations so that more people can have the opportunity to watch it too. Please keep it up. My name is Comrade Amune from Lagos.
Okay, that was also part of the encouragement I wanted.
Okay, sir.
You will recall that when I first came here,
okay, sir,
I told you I've been watching this program. And I look forward to opportunity of coming that time.
Okay.
And I came because I see reality. Reality in the sense that you are always bringing a lot of good people, clerics, very experienced clerics that will come and tell you, this is a version, this is the Christian version, and this is the Muslim version. And when you look at the Muslim version and then quoting from both the Bible and the Quran, then there's no need for us to be fighting a religious war. So you will see people using it in politics. You will see, like I said, sometimes it's politicians that fuel these things. I've admitted that and I've said so. Because when elections come, what politicians are looking for is looking for areas where they ignite long history of insecurity. That's the one that people will just go for. And in the name of religion, you just start killings. In the name of religion, you see people burning houses here and there, which is quite unnecessary. At the end of the day, the man who is encouraging this is sitting down in his house. His children are not there. His relations are not there. But you are killing yourselves. You kill yourself, you finish. He enjoys the backside of office. This is what I don't want. And I want active participation. Because if you are a Christian, come and exhibit your Christian spirit. It is not you just saying it outside. It is not when you go to campaign and say it. What are you doing? Because that's what I know. They say, our Bible teaches us that, yes, Jesus said, you should do it. Show it by deed, not only by saying it. You must do that. If you are a peacemaker, exhibit that peace. And that is that kind of conversation that I see. And so my own is always trying to encourage people. I say, look, watch me as a governor. Where I am at fault, my religious leaders will always call me and caution me. They will tell, you said that you come to church every day, but why were you doing this? If I have explanation, I will do it. But if I don't, I will also tell them, I say, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? You
listen to your religious leaders like this when they talk to you?
Very well, very well, of course.
But do they have the confidence of talking to you?
I remember I told you that part of why we brought in Forgiveness Day was, I think, the influence of my
I remember Kaigama.
my Archbishop Kaigama. Yes, now when he came, he was emphasizing on this reconciliation, dialogue, and peace when he was bishop there. And so in the process, we set up the peace building agency. We set up the interreligious council because he was chairman of interreligious council, earlier said. And when the former governor came, he dissolved the committee. He dissolved the committee at that time. And of course, the committee was not in existence when there were protracted crisis in Plateau State. So when I came back, I said, no, I'm going to set up the interreligious council again. We widened the scope. We set up the interreligious council because I saw that his emphasis was always about reconciliation, love, and forgiveness. You can't be talking about these two without talking about forgiveness. Because if you are talking of reconciliation, tomorrow you are there fighting again, it means you are not reconciling. And not only mere reconciliation, we try to strive to make that reconciliation a genuine reconciliation. Genuine in the sense that when there were no-go areas in Plateau State, you see people now moving and there are no fights. You see Igbos moving, trading in areas that were precisely no-go areas for Christians. You come to Christian areas where they will put a tag and put a flag and say this is New Jerusalem. Today is not New Jerusalem. They don't even have a name for it. People are moving,
so
interacting.
People are now interacting
very well. They are interacting very well. They're interacting very well. I've seen it. I've been, sometimes I move in the night. They know it. That sometimes I move in the night. It's only that each time I'm moving, the slightest thing I think I'm not recognized, they will just recognize me. I went to a place and then one woman, I thought I disguised myself. Then one old woman just, she was looking at me. I tried to hide my face. He said, this one looked like governor of Plateau State, so I ran away. I knew if people knew that night, and I don't go with much security, so I had to run away from that place. So things like that will encourage people to live together. And as a leader, it is when there is peace that you sleep. Exactly. Without peace, you will not sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you. I think I have many things to ask, but I will wait until when we get to that segment. You have raised so many issues now. That's why I'm jotting them down, but I will be back. Let me continue with this. This one says, I want to congratulate NTA for this program and to thank a lot of priests, that is Imam and Father, for taking their time to sensitize Nigerians on this topic. Salam, I wrote to inform you that I appreciate the program you are presenting now, the Abrahamic mission, Kauchadi Jamare in Bauchi State. That is what the person writes. This one says, it is the religion. This is what Nigeria need now. Not even on weekly basis, but on daily basis, should be sponsored by federal government. I don't know what the band is trying to say is that it said this program it's too small to be on weekly basis, that it should be on daily basis to be seen and to be listened to. Well, we get sponsorship, by God's grace we'll get to that level. This is my answer. I said religious crisis has led to destruction of lives in the world. With this program, one has to have a rethink that the person you want to kill in the name of religion is not the problem. Thanks, Evangelist John King from Nnewi, Anambra State. We have a lot of messages here. This man says, good evening, sir. I'm happy to watch your program. I think your TV program is among the best programs I've ever watched and listened to in my life. I thank Almighty God for using you to bring Christians and Muslims together, for us to understand that we are serving the same God. And no matter our differences, we should love one another as Nigerians, as one body created by God Almighty. May God give you grace to carry on, sir. We should remember, in eyes of God, He doesn't recognize Christians and Muslims. God only recognizes a diligent, faithful, and obedient servant. Thank you all. I'm C. John King from Nnewi, Anambra State. This man say, many thanks to Reverend Father Emmanuel Unemba for shedding light on Mary and Miriam in Christianity. Last episode, we brought a pastor, a father.
I watch it.
Oh,
I watch it.
a
Reverend Father.
Who speaks Arabic?
Yes.
I thought. I'm sorry. I forgot that you. That
I
is
watch
it.
I watch them.
I call that Reverend. I call him Sheikh Reverend Father Emmanuel Unamba. Okay. I'm going to end this one with just this message. He said, I always signify this particular group program as the best so far that NTA has ever produced. Shemang Amore from Kaduna State. Thank you so much. With that, I think we will still continue to read more. Please, you can also send your messages and other WhatsApp or SMS through this number 070-449-44949. Once again, is in your screen 070-449-44949. You want to interact with His Excellency when we get to that, something you just don't call, just send your message. Please, once again, do not call. Only your messages we will take. If you call, it means you won't give other people chance to do. But we'll go on a short break now when you now be face to face with His Excellency.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
You are welcome once again to Abrahamic Mission. Today we are discussing the concept of forgiveness and peace process in Plateau State. Perhaps many of us you do not know that Plateau State has always been a burning point before, and today is now a peaceful place that anybody can just. A friend just called me before we enter this studio around 10:30 that is just entering Jos. I was afraid. I said, "Why you are coming to Jos around this time?" He said, "The mom, Jos has changed. It's not what you used to think it was. That's what it is now." Join me in welcoming the man whom God has been using to change this thing, to change the narrative to what we can now say that God will thank you in Plateau State. We have with us the Right Honorable Simon Lalong, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, is also the Chairman of Northern Governors Forum. Your Excellency, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Once again, I want to thank you and I want to appreciate you for being one of our greatest fans of this program. As you have been following us, we have been following you too.
Yes.
You declare 7th of February every year as a day of forgiveness in Plateau State. Let me start from there. Why?
Yes, we came and inherited a lot of crises in Plateau State. And in the course of trying to address some of this was what led us to set up the Peace Building Agency. We set up the Peace Building Agency. We also set up the Interreligious Council. And we were able to settle some communities, that is the feuding communities, and especially the Birom Fulani, that was really at war at that time.
Birom
and Fulani.
Okay.
Now, when we settled them, we now realize that we will have to sustain that peace. We'll have to sustain that peace. And in the process of trying to sustain that peace, we brought in a lot of NGOs. Now, one of the NGOs made that suggestion. And I think that is the one that led by Imam Shafa and Pastor Reverend Wuye. And they said, look, why can't we create the opportunity for forgiveness, just like was done in the South Africa? And I was also encouraged by His Grace, my Archbishop. Now we left him for Abuja. He's now in Abuja.
He's on diplomatic mission in Abuja. But very soon we are going to invite him. He will come and tell us how he started.
Exactly. So in one of his NGOs, and rep, he was talking and bringing people together to talk about reconciliation, and you say even if you reconcile, you must also learn to forgive, because it is this lack of forgiveness that you reconcile, then tomorrow you are at war again. So you must find opportunity to forgive, because sometimes people will tell you, I will forgive, but I will not forget. So in this time, we say forgive and forget. Forgive and forget, because certain things will come that will make you to forget. But if you don't address some of those things, and that's why we do it as a yearly event, so that to ensure that we take assessment of what we have done in the last year. We started it 3 years ago. The first one, we did it in the stadium, and what we did was to bring all the communities that were settled together to experience, to give them experience of what they are feeling now and what they were feeling when they were at war. So the advantages of being at peace. And so it was very elaborate, and people were very happy in the stadium. Then the next year, that was what we did last year. Unfortunately, we invited people. The Sultan was there. I think the Khan president also was also there. A lot of people were there. So the Sultan had to spend 3 days. When he saw, he said, he was wondering, he said, in Nigeria, you are doing forgiveness there. I said, His Eminence, we are doing it. And I was very happy he was there. At the point where we were at the function, it was a Friday, and it was time for mosque. He was going to make his speech. We had to cut off the speech. They went to pray. When they went to pray, people followed them. Christians followed them to the mosque. They were waiting because they said Sultan must come and finish his speech. So when they finished, Sultan came back, and the Muslims from the mosque all trooped into that place, into the peace garden. There's a garden we call peace garden now. Garden for peace, forgiveness. The garden of forgiveness.
In Jos.
In Jos, that is Zaria Terrace, very popular place. But the garden was turned into habitat for drug addicts. Everybody will come there and be doing everything for different kind of criminality. So what we did was, I don't know the choice, the peace building said, we must go to that place, rehabilitate the garden, and drive all those hoodlums out. So we did that, and we now changed the garden, renovated the garden, and today is known as the garden for forgiveness, the garden for forgiveness. So we established that, and each time the arrangement was that we put security there. And we say anybody that has conflict, you have conflict, you come to that place. Anytime you are there, there is a phone number. Just call the phone number, and then conciliators will come and meet you there and address your issue. So they have been doing that. People go there. You see people, they go and phone the number, and that number is peace building. The peace building will come there and ask you, what is your problem? They will say, in our community, in our ward, this is what is happening. So they will reconcile them and they will leave. So, but the actual ceremony is always on the 7th. Now we are even proposing a law. The Ministry of Justice is already working on a draft for us to have it as a law that even when we leave office, it will still be celebrated. That day of forgiveness will be celebrated. So last year, I think the new Archbishop of Jos, it was very wonderful, because we had a prayer in the mosque for that, and then we had interdenominational prayer at St. Louis Catholic Church, and the bishop was there. The bishop conducted the mass that day.
Which bishop? The new bishop?
The new bishop, Bishop Ishaya. Shah Audu. And to our greatest surprise, when he was preaching, he said, look, we the religious leaders, this one, were the ones to ask for forgiveness. That was the scope of his preaching. He said, people believe that you are a religious leader, you are an imam, that you don't sin. It's a lie. He said, now today's on is that it's for us. Let us show example. And he came down from the pulpit and he knelt down on the ground. So all the religious leaders should come and kneel down. Let us ask God for forgiveness. Now let us ask the congregation to forgive us for what we believe we have also done to them.
For misleading them.
Yes. And if you see the video, so all of us, everybody came down. Religious leaders were on their knees. So all of us came down and we all prayed that God should forgive everybody that has offended another. and chart a new course in Plateau State. So immediately we did that. Then the next day was the Forgiveness Day, and the Sultan was there, religious leaders were all there. We celebrated it and you went. So if you are really a man with a conscience, this kind of thing will also touch you, will prick you. And if you want, they are the type that will go and try to make people do trouble. Many cases we've had people come to confess and say, look, after that some people come and say, why are you doing forgiveness? Which forgiveness? They have not done this, they have not done that. People will tell you, say, look, since that day I did forgiveness, I don't want to go back and do anything again. Because what will I tell them when we come back to the next forgiveness day if I have not forgiven my neighbor? So with that kind of thing, in most of the societies where we held this thing, many of them will see peace in that place. So recently we also had some clashes in some of the places, and that's what they have been busy doing now. The peace building together with the NGOs, they are working on it, and the people have even agreed that they are signing a peace accord. So I am sure those are some of the people that will come that day and tell you the efforts that government is doing, the efforts that these NGOs are doing, and the peace building, and we are reconciling, because it is not imposing peace on them. Let them drive the process themselves.
It's not imposing peace on them.
Yeah, imposing the peace on them. We allow them, we lay the foundation, and they do it. It may take a while, but let them develop themselves. And like in what is happening in Miango, where we had this last crisis, is that we allow them. Sometimes they come to sign, they say, no, we have not finished. We say, go and finish. Put in all the dots, not put the dots, and put the I's. It is what you want to believe that is what will make you stay in peace, that our own is to implement. So we're waiting for you to agree. So that is what we call forgiveness, because you can't go and sit down and talk without forgiving each other. Certain aspect of life will require that you must forgive. You must forgive your neighbor. So we did it the second year, and this one is coming up on Monday. Monday is the 7th. And we're expecting that, again, we're going to celebrate that and celebrate Plateau as we celebrate those who have forgiven each other, and we also celebrate them for maintaining peace throughout the year.
Okay.
Those who did it last year, and we go and also re-examine and find out how are they doing in that place. And when they do that, we also appraise those conduct, and we'll say thank you for doing that.
But that's what I want to ask. Do you have a way of saying thank you for those people who have been maintaining peace, and a way to say, why did you do this, for those who have not, who have been...
Yeah, at the time I said so, although some of them didn't go that well. I said, look, I can't do projects where there are conflict. So some people came and said, no, but the conflict are sometimes caused by people outside our environment. So how do you use that as a yardstick in ensuring that developments are not done to us because there are crises within our area? Okay. I said, but we will be within the law, and then within the scope of what they want to do. I will not say I claim knowledge of what they... Sometimes they do it by surprise. They surprise me. They come out and say, this is what you are going to see, Mr. Governor. We will not tell you everything. But certain things that are built up, are prepared for this year, we will just wait until the D-Day. You will see it as a surprise.
As the governor of Plateau State, and at the same time as the chairman of Northern Governors Forum, and at the same time a member who is not in opposition to the federal government. Are you trying to do what I can call peer review to see how what you are doing in Plateau, how you sell it to other states, even to federal government? Is there a way you are doing anything on that?
We have done that. Yeah, you remember that it was in Plateau State. It was Mr. President that launched the Peace Building Agency. That Peace Building Agency that was set up. I think when the president came, was it in 2016? He launched it. He said we should leave it. He's going to launch it in Plateau when he comes. So he launched it openly, and he declared that people, all the states should copy what Plateau have done. they should copy what Plateau have done.
Okay.
At the Northern Governors Forum, I'm always making emphasis on why we set up the Day of Forgiveness. I think the one person that is always talking about it more than even me is His Eminence the Sultan. 3 days ago.
You know, one thing with His Eminence is this.
Yes.
The moment he sees something that is good,
yeah,
he will not mind what. He must make sure that thing succeeds.
Exactly.
That's what I've noticed in him.
Yes. He mentioned it at the Northern Traditional Rulers Summit that they met. And he said, look, why can't we go and begin to copy what Plateau are doing, the Day of Forgiveness, that he will not want to miss any of the Day of Forgiveness. He's coming to the Day of Forgiveness, and I said, yes. And I was asked to even explain to them what is the meaning of Day of Forgiveness. I explained to traditional rulers. I said, this is what we are doing, and then efforts in establishing peace building all over the northern states. So that at that stage too, what you do is that you access what you have done in the peace building. The only time that you access it when you see communities coming out to say, we are now at peace. We are forgiving each other. So we are now living at peace, and we are enjoying ourselves instead of being at conflict.
Okay. Well, so many things is running in my brain as you are talking about. Notwithstanding, let me quickly go to this. In the last 7 years, how will you describe your journey towards peace, building a reconciliation in Plateau State? And what result can you say these are concrete results that I've seen in the past 7 years?
I think for me it's perfect because, like people will tell you, a lot of influx into the town, a lot of developments into the place, and areas where people were at conflict is no longer there, although we have some pockets of them here and there. And the good thing is that through that effort, anytime there's a conflict in Plateau, it doesn't take us a while to settle it, to settle this. It means that the people are cooperating. People don't want crisis again.
Yes.
Not unlike before, where you have crisis, it will take you several months, even with the presence of security, it will take you several months. But this time, the moment you do it, we have 2 outfits that we added. I told you that I set up an interreligious council.
Okay.
When it affects religion, because most of the time it was always ethno-religious crisis that we're having in Plateau State. Apart from the farmers' headsmen, that we had the challenge of farmers' headsmen, which we addressed, then there was this issue of ethno-religious. Even the farmers' headsmen was always resulting into ethno-religious crisis.
That's true.
So we set up the interreligious council. And in that interreligious council, if it is a church, every small church that has a head is a member of the council. Every on the Muslim side, all the sects that are there in Plateau, they are also members of the interreligious council. We had a population of even more than 50 of them.
That is different organizations.
Different organizations in Plateau State, who in religious affairs. So anytime they have a meeting, there is no one that is left out. So when I have issues, disputes, or conflict that has to do with religious matters, I put it to them. And then because they are coordinated by 2 men, one retired Kokun pastor, Kokun Reverend President, and then the other one, the Emir of Wase, who is the chairman of the council. Yes, Jamatu Islam. Nasul Islam, JNI. He's the council. Yeah. So they coordinate. They are the co-chairs of the council. So I throw it to them. I say, I have this problem. Can you go and sit down? They call a meeting. And by the time they sit down, exhaust the item, they will come out and say, this is the solution. But in the past, it was not like that. You will just wait until you see somebody being killed or you see a house being burned, house on fire. Then it comes into a religious or turns into an ethnic problem. Okay. So within that scope, we also are trying to rely more also on the traditional council. Okay. On the traditional council. Now, when you get up to the traditional council, you get an avenue to harness all the conflicts, especially that affects communities.
Okay.
So in that one, I think His Majesty the Bongom and all the traditional council are doing very well. Are doing very well, and that is also part of the reason why we introduced a bill in the constitutional amendment for religious leaders, for traditional rulers. What is before the National Assembly now is a bill from the Northern Governors Forum,
Okay.
in respect to address the issues, to strengthen the role of traditional rulers,
Okay.
so that they can address some of the issues that we have, some of these conflicts and also insecurity that we have.
Your Excellency, there are so many things that are on grind, but there is one thing that is certain. When somebody is saying it out of passion, it's very easy for you to see that it is coming out of passion, not you don't have a period that you are reading.
Yes.
So it won't allow me to ask so many other questions. But we have to go on a break now. But somebody is greeting you. He said, I'm happy for this platform. Kudos, Your Excellency. Kudos to the presenter and kudos to NTA. This is the best program that Nigeria has ever produced. This is more than any other thing. Christian and Muslims are the same. Vitalis from Ojo, Lagos. Thank you, Mr. Vitalis. With this, we will go on a short break, sir. Okay. Then when we come back, what you want to do, how you want to do them, we'll now be discussing that. Don't go away. We'll still be back.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Welcome. We are just joining us. We are still discussing peace and forgiveness in Plateau State and with His Excellency, the governor here, that's just because of this program is here in Abuja. Once again, we thank you and you are welcome.
Thank you.
Some people seems to have the notion that the Forgiveness Day you insisted is in a way condoning the action of people who engage in violence and others, or even set them free, that people who are engaging, who have been doing wrong, who have been causing crisis, or they misbehave because of your what do you call it, Forgiveness Day, as if you are just allowing them to go, that people will commit crisis, they will cause problems, but because you have declared a day of forgiveness, it's like people are using the opportunity to foment trouble because they know forgiveness is there. How will you react to this, sir?
No, not at all. I think it is not. With due respect, there is law. For every action, every criminal act, there is a consequence.
Okay.
And that consequence, those consequences are guided by laws. We have seen people in prison, they go to prison. We don't go to stop prosecution because somebody is talking about forgiveness. But this forgiveness is different, because if we are talking about that, then we do pardon too. Once in a while, we go to prisons to do pardon.
Okay, prerogative of mercy.
Prerogative of mercy. Okay. So it is without regard to that. We don't go to influence, or we don't go to disturb the process or disturb the process. Now, this forgiveness is about the communities, communities that are sometimes seen to be in conflict. So it is always this conflict that will result in this kind of crisis. But when you get to a level of criminality, I think the law enforcement agencies are the ones that will take charge of it. But what we want to do is that we try to put a lesson, because the younger ones are there. It's the youth. Mostly, when we started with the first one, the first group that were even into forgiveness were the youth. A large chunk of youth came out and said, look, were tired. Because if the youths are tired, who again will you find as
go and fight
the foot soldiers to go and fight? We took them to a place, we trained them for about 2 months. So when they came back, they were the ones who came and gave the story, how they had interacted and how they are not going to fight again. So that was the first stage of forgiveness. Then the second one, again, mostly concentrating always on the youth. Because if you meet every society now that is conflict, they will tell you it's the youth. We can't control them. We can't control the youth. So you can always control the youth when they agree to settle together, when they agree to make peace. That one is so beautiful. Because if you say you are imposing or forcing them to make peace, you will just be wasting your time. And we encourage them, we take them, we train them, we come back, and they will tell you, what the experiences they've gone through and what they want to do to the society. So that kind of culture is like leaving a legacy, because tomorrow, even the younger ones that are coming up will remember that by next year, we are coming towards Forgiveness Day. If we don't reconcile now, are we going to continue to be at conflict? It will be a shame. It will be a shame on us. If those who had gone there to do forgiveness are still the ones that are doing conflict, we ask them, why? Why are you going back again? Why are you going back again? They will come back and say, we're very sorry. This and this were the reasons. And then back again, we have the peace building. Because the peace building is not also sleeping. They take up
the peace building and the religious council. They are two different.
No, they are different. They are different groups. Although the peace building is also part of the secretariat for the interreligious council, because whatever are the things, they lay down the ground rules for their meetings, and they sit down at the secretariat to listen to them. So it's part of the work of the peace building when the interreligious council is meeting, because all the members of the management of the peace building are also part of the secretariat, secretariat of the interreligious council.
Excellency, but despite that,
yes,
these efforts is naturally commendable, because I believe it's the work of God Himself.
Yes.
He's the only person that is God conscious, that is not thinking of it, because there are so many gain for encouraging crisis.
Yes.
On individual, which we know.
Yes.
But for you to have said no, all what you want is God's mercy from Him, and not the crumbs that comes, I describe it as crumbs,
yes,
that come from crisis.
Yes.
Plateau State still record some crisis.
Yes.
Does that mean your effort at a peace building, is it being eroded, or is not showing enough results?
Yes.
I don't know how you got my question.
I got your question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not because when they say peace is not the absence of war. Yeah, you can't say that in a society you will not have some of these people. In every society you have crisis measures. You have also politicians, like I mentioned. Yeah. When the election is coming, the best thing to do is to go and ignite crisis. And all things that have been settled, the way they will put it, it will move the people to go back and start doing crisis again. So those are some of the things we are seeing. Because things that we had forgotten about, things that people had come to say, no, we are not going back again. Then you see some people going around it. It's like a thief. He will always wait until you are asleep. You are asleep. You are sleeping because he is praying that you will sleep. These are what some conflict merchants are doing. They try to take advantage of situations where we feel Plateau is enjoying, everybody is at peace, and then they'll blow out something. They will blow out something. So even after the last year, we had a crisis in part of the state around Basa side. That's the Miango crisis, which we're battling to settle now. Now, if you look at some of the causes for those crises, you will see that there was no reason. There is no reason. But for me, I knew that we were coming towards an election. That time we were coming towards an election. That was a local government election, which is one thorny election that is always we're always having. Yeah. So we had the crisis within that time. So after the local government election, we didn't see
any crisis.
Any crisis again. After the local government crisis, we didn't see much of the crisis again. Okay. So some of these things, you will always look at it and also see that some of the drivers for this conflict are some of these issues. So when we look at it that way, we also try to make the peace building to concentrate more on it. As it is now, there are more in Miango concentrating. In the last 6 months, they have been in Miango, always dealing with the conflict, trying to reconcile the people, and even the NGOs too, and with the security organizations.
Last year, I don't know whether the election has affected it now. You appointed a Muslim.
Yes.
In a local government where for you to say a Muslim, your life is not safe.
Yes.
And a place where to say you are a Christian, a Muslim is not safe there, and vice versa.
Yes.
You did it. The election that you did in local government now,
yes,
has it been changed, or what is the situation in those local governments now?
Well, for the first time, I think for a very, very long time, election was conducted in Jos North.
Okay.
Before I knew, I was a speaker. And after that time, there was crisis in 2001.
Yes.
After 2001, you dare not attempt to even conduct election in Jos North. Because each time you are going to conduct election in Jos North, they will tell you you want to open crisis in Plateau State. So this time, we conducted election in Jos North, and the election was very peaceful. There was no headache. No.
We didn't even know you conducted election.
We conducted election in 17 local governments of Plateau State. And so the election was very peaceful. So as it is now, everybody will tell you, after a very long time, election was conducted in Jos. And to imagine that an election was conducted and there was no headache, no quarrel, means that we are moving forward. It means we are moving forward.
What about the, okay, you want to say something?
Yes, because of what we are saying, this issue of peace and reconciliation. We took a long time in trying to reconcile the people of Jos North. In Jos North, there are different groups. In Jos North, there are different, it's a cosmopolitan area.
Yes.
And each time you tell them, please be patient with each other. If it is election, if it is leadership, this one will be today. Tomorrow, the next person will do it. In my own party, I had to call them. They were going to conduct election. I said, do you want to conduct election? They all came to me. They said, no, we don't want to conduct an election. I said, what do you want? They said, Mr. Governor, with this peace building you have done in this place, you just tell us who will be the first chairman. And then it will be a rotation.
It's rotation.
Just tell us.
So that's the way you did it?
That was the way we did it in our primaries. So it was consensus. So they said, you tell us which one. So what I said is that, is there somebody in that office?
And there are no dissenting voices to say, no,
no. There were no.
This.
No. At the end of the day, when I said, is there an occupant in that place? They said, yes. How is he doing? They said, well, he's doing very well. He's doing very well. I said, let him start. Let him start. Let him complete and start. Let him start stand as elected. And it was agreed. And within them, they shared the other positions. Very comfortable. So the other tribes took this one took secretary, this one took this. At the end of the day, Jos is a very, very peaceful place. Jos North.
Your Excellency, our time is going and we've not reached anywhere. I'm afraid probably history will repeat itself. I don't know you know what I mean. you remember what I mean?
Yes.
Last year we started, we couldn't finish. We have to come back again. I'm afraid history might repeat itself, but notwithstanding.
Yes.
This man says, he said, God bless you, sir, the governor of Plateau State. I wish all states should just copy this and live in peace. Once again, thank you, sir. Okocha Azuka from Delta State. This person that now your administration is winding up.
Yes.
What are you going to do now that these gains are sustained and probably improved on?
Well, that is what we're emphasizing on. And first, to try to do my best to be fair to all the communities. And you know, when there is no justice and fairness, there is no way you talk about peace.
Yes.
So what we started before will continue. And I have leave my office. I try to make sure that each and every person, no matter how little that community is also given a fair treatment, is given recognition in government. And that way, you ensure that you sustain peace in the state. Because some people will say, okay, let's wait. If he leaves, let's see what will happen. And I've also been praying that the next person that will be governor of Plateau State will also have that spirit to continue with this kind of legacies. You know, sometimes it's very difficult. Yeah. Somebody will come and say, no, I don't want to continue with it. That has been my prayers always, that whoever comes in will also take peace as a priority in Plateau State. Because in a place like Plateau, once you ensure peace, everything will just go normal.
Fall in place, yes.
Everything will fall in place. You find people very easy to govern when there is peace, when you are doing justice, when you are doing fairness. If it is appointment, make sure all the areas are considered. If it is projects, make sure everyone is getting equal project. Not like before that they will tell you that if you see big projects, it means it is for a particular community, a particular of particular ethnic group. So the other ones will feel that they are not part of the state. But today, even when we came to ensure that we had a spread of projects everywhere, we initiated 22 projects, 22 roads. And today I can tell you that many of them were completed and some of them are at completion stage. At that time, everybody felt a sense of belonging because they will tell you, a job is going on in my place right now. Road is going on. And again, we had to bring up all the tribes, 53 ethnic groups, 53 ethnic nationalities in Plateau State. Yes, including those who are Plateau indigenes and those who are non-Plateau indigenes. All of them are accommodated. We make sure, even in appointments, they may not be the same, but everybody is seen in government. It will tell you that we are also in government. Our union representative is in government. So for all the policies,
so do you choose people from each of these ethnic from their town union?
They send representatives to us.
You send letter to them that
yes.
Please send somebody who represents to a government.
Yes, that's what we do. When we collected the 53 ethnic groups, because in our campaigns to become governor, we made sure that was the first time that we reached that side kind of campaign. We made sure that we spend time with each of the 53 ethnic groups in their domain. We will go to their headquarters and they will give us a place, we'll sit down with them, not mere 5 hours, not mere 30 minutes. We'll make sure that we'll sit down for a whole day. They will bring out all their problems, and at the end of the day, we took all the problems of the 53 ethnic groups. Even just that kind of engagement was something. So when we came to the election, you will be surprised. It was not money. It was not anything. There was a powerful governor who was there, and everybody was voting against. Everybody was voting against him. So when we came, it is now on record that we try to fulfill most of the promises we made to those 53 ethnic groups. You find Igbos are there, Yorubas are there, the Hausas are there, Urobos are there, everybody outside the state. If you ask them, they say, no, we have a sense of belonging. We are being treated fairly. So if they are treated fairly, why will there be confusion in the state?
Okay, this one, I don't want to say it's a personal question, but I know it will interest everybody. There are no 3 terms in our constitution for any elected position, as much as I know.
Yes.
I know you are almost, by next year, your second term might come to an end. What do you intend to be doing with this peace building? I do not know where God is taking you.
Yes.
But you personally, you know, Jesus Christ, while he was in the cave, he said, this thing, God, this is my human wish, but your wish is what I am waiting for. As a human being, what do you think you will be doing with this program? Because from this, the way you talk, is from your blood. It's not something, you know, there's another say when they teach somebody to do something, if that person accepts it, it is already in him.
Yes.
It's not what that person taught him that is actually working.
Yes.
You mentioned your Archbishop, that he was the one who introduced and summoned you. It means you too, you like it, it's in your blood, you are just waiting for it.
Yes.
How are you going to continue? What are your plans? What are the plans you have when you leave office that this kind of thing will not die? Very
interesting, because I said it several times that when people ask, what would you like to be known? I said, the one excitement I get is when they come, they say, this is Governor of Plateau, the man who loves peace. If they call you like that, the person who likes peace. And because of that I have gone back to school. It may interest you that I said after I leave office, I must continue to engage in peace building and conflict management. And that was why I read law. I did masters in law, but I didn't go back for PhD in law. I went back now and I'm doing PhD in conflict management at the University of Jos. And I told them I must finish that PhD. It's because that will also help me in whatever focus I'm doing, because my line is going to be areas where I can help the society in peace building and conflict management.
Your Excellency, thank you so much. It has been very engaging.
Thank you.
Very fruitful, very hopeful, very purposeful, because I pray that God in His infinite mercy will continue to make Plateau State a peaceful state.
Thank you very much.
By extension, the entire northern state, by extension, the entire country, God will make it a peaceful one.
Thank you.
We, on behalf of I have so many messages that I begin to be reading. Believe me. Okay, let me quickly read this one before I wind up. This one say, good morning. I'm Nuhu Kuso from Niger State. I really want to comment on this program. I really want to encourage His Excellency to keep up the good job of ensuring peace in the state. As Northern Governor Chair, the country is entrusted to them as leader. Can you also, so many of them, people have been talking to you. We want to thank you, want to appreciate you. I believe when we call you next time, or when you call us very soon, let me adjust that statement. When you call us very soon, say, NTA, I'm coming back. I know very soon we'll soon receive your call.
Yes.
That you come back. Thank you once again. And I want to thank all those who have been involved in this. I want to appreciate the NGO, His Excellency mentioned, the imam and the pastor, and all other NGOs that have been together. Thank you. Until when we meet next week by God's grace. And also on Sunday, you will watch the program by 5 p.m., including Radio Nigeria Network. Your Excellency, you are welcome. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Until when we meet next time, my name is Imam Fuad Adeyemi, saying bye-bye.